All right, everybody. Hey, you are watching This Pink Cloud, Season 2, Episode 27. I got to get my mic right, dude, so I can spit fire, dude.
Fire.
But, yeah, this is Season 2, Episode 27. I am DJ Kelly Reverb. Sitting in with me is guest and reoccurring co-host slash Sobar Basics guru slash Charles Manson-esque recovery god slash possum wrangler, Dusty Burrows.
Oh, jeez.
was that a good build
Man,
up?
that was something right there, Kelly. I must say, that was the best so far.
All right, and sitting in with us is our good buddy, Chef Corey Warnsley.
Good morning.
Correct,
Yeah.
correct,
Yes,
correct.
My man.
All right, so so just real quick, Corey is obviously a chef, but he also is a holistic wellness coach, and we've got a bunch of cool dietary stuff to talk about. As far as recovery, obviously this show is all about recovery and sobriety sometimes, but just, if I always like to get a little 101 in, and basically we figure out what is working for us in our recovery journey. And, maybe somebody will learn something and it'll help them.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's why we're here. I'm super stoked today.
Yeah.
Corey's been my buddy for a long time, so
Yeah,
we
man,
have some
I'm
really
excited.
good talks.
Well, y'all worked together at TCC, right?
No, we worked together at Healing Springs Ranch.
Healing Springs Ranch. Now, where is that?
That's located in Tioga, Texas.
Tioga, Texas, wherever that is.
Yeah, they're a residential treatment
Is
center.
that like up north?
Yeah, it's up
Yeah.
north by Aubrey and Pilot Point area.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't
Heading
know where
towards
that is.
Oklahoma.
Towards
There you go.
Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Towards
There
North
you
of
go.
Denton. You know where Denton is? It's up
Yeah,
there.
there you go. There
It's
you
up
go.
yonder ways, as
yeah.
we say in Texas.
Exactly, dude. Well, it's if you're at like FM 420 and whatever. I'm like,
It's up in them FM areas.
Okay. So anyway, but I want to thank you guys for coming on the show. Always like to hit the sponsor real quick. That is Summer Sky. If you look up here on the screen, see, I know now. It's right up there.
Right there.
Yeah, exactly. It's right above my head. But that's summersky.us, and their number is 888-857-8857. Once again, that is summersky.us, 888-857-8857. They are a rehabilitation / detox center. It's where I went. It worked for me. I'm a year plus sober and, thriving. Yeah. And actually, I wouldn't have done it if I didn't go to rehab. So, I was that level.
It works if you work it, man.
Exactly. I'm going to say, and you paying for it yourself also is a nice determining factor as well.
Yeah, it's a powerful tool. I mean, I
Yeah.
suggest everybody, if you have the means, or even if you don't, then I can help you out with that. But
Right.
To go to residential treatment, it's take yourself out of your life, out of your stressors, and take a break and
Right.
refocus on your recovery.
Well, yeah, I mean, because I was just stringing those 3 days together, and those 3 days really kind of became like 2 days or maybe 24 hours.
Like broken Christmas lights.
Yeah, exactly. But so anyway, and also if you are watching us on Facebook, be sure and go to our YouTube channel. I will be putting unique content to that channel up. So if you go to thispinkcloud.com, that's going to take you to the YouTube channel. Be sure and subscribe. And if you don't subscribe, then there will be a curse on your family. No, I'm just kidding. But it'll be a good deed, and just do it. And then also we've got the shirts real quick. These are available on my DJ website, which is djkellyreverb.com/shop. And Brett will be pulling those lovely shirts up here once he gets done with his booty text with his girl. Talking about the Kanye album and the Kanye album that didn't drop, dude.
Right.
Kanye for president.
Yeah. I don't know about that. That would be funny, though. That would be good. That would be good times if he
My
was.
son's
actually.
a huge fan.
Yeah.
He loves them.
But yeah, Brett, if you have those shirts, yeah, cool. We've got the rainbow one there, and then we should have the chair one, and the old I went to rehab, and all I got was my life back. And then the standard This Pink Cloud shirt. Yeah, those are all available at djkellyreverb.com/shop. Support the show. Show us some love. I love it to spot those shirts out every once in a while now. They're getting out there, and especially in Stephenville, Texas, where
I have worn these shirts,
Yeah.
and they have improved my dating life.
Have they?
Substantially.
Well,
True story.
Anybody that rocks a little pink, dude, I think it might attract the females. I don't know.
It's the new black.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess so. But anyway, I want to get to our guest because we have a lot to talk about. But I wanted to I always like to touch on what your story is and kind of what brought you into recovery and where maybe like there was past trauma and all that good stuff. So it's all yours, my man. And thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Just to begin on my story, I started out in the culinary industry as a chef, and that's how I really linked up with Dusty.
Well, now let's paint a timeline like of where maybe where you started. Like how old of a gentleman are you?
I'm 39.
Okay.
I'm 39. And
Right.
So my chef journey started when I was, I want to say 23, but back then I was just in and out of different kitchens, doing different jobs. And I wasn't a chef yet, so I was just a line level employee, dishwashing, line cooking. And it was just something that I enjoyed.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, well, this is what I want to do. So I went to Le Cordon Bleu.
Okay. Now that's fancy, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm in the DJ community, not the chef community.
Well, it is a prestigious program right now.
That's the word I was looking for.
Definitely. Right now, I do think they are defunct, but there are other good culinary programs out there.
Right.
But the one I went to was in Le Cordon Bleu in Dallas.
Okay.
And so I graduated there. Got my tools to become a chef and just really went to different outfits. I started out at, it was a little outfit called J. Macklin's in Capel. And then I went to the casino in Windstar.
Sweet.
In Thackerville, Oklahoma.
Okay.
And that's where everything kind of was a little rocky, a casino atmosphere.
Of course.
And,
do they have alcohol at casinos?
They do. And actually, there was a lot of that in my team as well, and so that type of behavior.
So you're saying in your cooking lineup, like all the people you worked with,
absolutely.
You were in that environment.
And myself included.
Yeah, sure.
Definitely. And when you're in such a high volume, high strenuous environment, it can be a little stressful. And so there was a lot of substance abuse, to deal with that stress.
Sure.
So
of course.
It was just really heavy, and that was when I decided, I was like, well, if I'm going to continue to be a chef, then I've got to do something with this vibe in this industry. You know, not only for myself, but for others, you know. And then I went to Healing Springs Ranch in Tioga.
Okay.
Met up with Dusty. He was a counselor there. And
so is that where your LCDC career started?
Yeah, more or less.
Okay.
Yeah, I started there as a LCDC intern.
You did your internship.
Yeah, that was my first job, aside from being a student assistant at UNT. That was my first job in the addiction industry. Yeah.
Okay.
Learned a lot
I know you're serious when you do this.
Learned a lot there. And I know Corey's a very humble dude.
Yeah.
But what impressed me from the very beginning when I met him is every chef I know is passionate and wants to serve people. But Corey takes it to that next level. And his interaction daily with the clients at breakfast, lunch, and dinner was something special. I knew this guy had a way with people.
He wasn't like punching the clock, and he actually gave a shit.
If he had the opportunity, he could have gone in and made breakfast and then left breakfast and went and sat down and ran some groups and talked to people about their feelings. He has a lot of talents to display, and that's what really impressed me about him.
Well, he's a likable guy, dude. He's, very
He's pretty,
personable.
too.
Yeah, there you go, dude. There you go.
You guys are making me blush. You can't see it, but But I appreciate that, Dusty, and likewise, Dusty's a great guy. His energy, is just unrivaled, and that's where we connected. He's got the Sobar Basics group, which is in short for sober bartenders, but just that industry alone,
Right.
It's really struggling. Long hours, low pay is a perfect formula for some problems. So,
Sure.
So that just really sparked me on making a change, and like Dusty said, I was able to see firsthand how high stress and high volume can really impact someone. So I was able to take that compassion with me to Healing Springs Ranch and just really show our clients, and my team as well, how to live in a healthy way, how to protect your energy, and just how to be healthy, And so it's been a great ride for me.
Right. So, and you have currently you have a company, and I'm putting the email up as we speak.
Mm-hmm.
So it's let's do this, and then that's at
HighVibeWellness.org.
High Vibe. And I'm putting this up just so all the people that are listening to our live feed on This Pink Cloud can actually check it out and actually personally get in touch with you. Do you have a website as well?
I do have a website. It's HighVibeWellness.org.
Okay, High Vibe Wellness. I hope. Well, I'm gonna do that later.
No worries.
I'm gonna correct it later. But yeah. So with that, as far as you were saying, where you went off, as far as you were drinking a lot at the job, and then you basically kind of found recovery through not necessarily a 12-step program or maybe even a SMART recovery program, but you just kind of found it out of a need for healthiness and wellness.
Exactly.
And just kind of came across that. Because what Dusty and I do is, we celebrate multiple pathways.
All pathways.
We whatever works for you. Hey man, get in where you fit in, and I think it's cool when there's somebody that's outside of outside of the norm, outside of the steps and stuff like that. But was it just your own personal usage that inspired you to go into recovery, or was there trauma in the past?
There was definitely trauma in the past.
Yeah.
There was definitely trauma in the past. And honestly, before I got to working with Dusty, I didn't realize how impactful mental health is on the quality of life, And so I had lots of drinking in that environment. Not only me, but my other chefs and my team as well. And I just said one day that I've got to do better. My energy levels were suffering.
Yeah, it's kind of rough fighting that
Mm-hmm.
hangover, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was angry all the time, and I was like, something has got to change. And so I also had some health issues, honestly. I had high blood pressure. I was like 230. I was 230 pounds.
And you're a svelte guy now, so how much are you tipping in at now?
I'm at 205 now.
Okay.
And
pure muscle.
Right.
Yeah, right.
So close to it.
Right.
Yeah, close to it. And so that's what really spearheaded it for me, was really the need to be healthy and wanting to be there for my kids. I've got 3 kids, a daughter and 2 boys.
Right.
And so I was like, I need to be here and I need to make some changes. And so I really, at Healing Springs Ranch, I was in charge of a holistic program, and so I decided to take advantage of that for myself, and really utilize some of the tools and knowledge that I learned to help me align with my health, And so I'm a firm believer in that there's a physical and an energetic modality that you've got to align with for, your complete health and wellness. What you do physically, you've got to do on the energetic level, on the mental level, whether that be 12 steps, whether that be meditation, whether that be mindfulness. but something along with the lines of nutrition.
Yeah, no,
help
no,
bring
no.
it balance.
Yeah, and I think that's a big thing. And you had touched on you had high blood pressure at some point, and I mean, in my addiction, I was full on diabetic, and probably well on the way to a little touch of cirrhosis as well. But that A1C was up there. But as far as that, I mean, do you have any like recommendations? Like, let's say somebody had high blood pressure. What did you do to correct your diet? I mean, I know they always say diet, exercise, but I mean, expound on that a little bit and go into, maybe something that you found usable in your life, like where you could actually implement that in your life and it was user friendly to you and not disgusting.
Definitely. Well, firstly, when I first started out, there's all these diets out there, but I do want to bring to awareness that diets are more trend setting, so I made the decision to totally change my lifestyle, and so different, it's a perpetual process, so taking out a lot of salt for me, that was a big driver for my high blood pressure. So finding different ways to cook food that is flavorful,
sure,
and not have so much
what
salt.
What do you find as a good substitute for salt when people do that? And is real quick, is sea salt better for you than iodized salt?
So let's answer the sea salt question. Sea salt is better. I wouldn't say better, but there are different health qualities for each. So sea salt has a lot of different minerals that our bodies need. Generally, what I found out is a lot of our health ailments stem from some type of mineral deficiency, vitamin deficiency. So sea salt is good. It has a lot of healthy minerals in it. Iodized salt, it's not that it's bad. It's just too much of it can cause a problem.
Sure, and there's everything, it's in everything to preserve everything. So
everything.
And it has the shelf life,
Exactly. So the typical rule of thumb is the higher level of refinement, the more you want to stay away from it, because it just strips the nutrients away from it.
Right. So so back to like, did you find anything that was good, like your secret spice?
Absolutely. So a lot of green vegetables I found are blood cleansers and they help out. So for me, a lot of moringa is one of them. And if you guys go to my website,
that sounds like a dance.
It is.
Salsa and moringa.
Well, I got to share one of the things that Corey taught me that I utilize all the time is food substitutions, right?
Okay.
So instead of using a lot of dairy, Corey taught me to use coconut milk, almond milk, soy milk, oat milk, things like that.
Yeah, and it's all good. Actually, all that stuff is really
high seasoning, high in sodium, to use a lot of herbs and things like that. So I took a lot of the things that Corey taught me and utilized them in my own diet. And even when working with clients now, yesterday I was working with a client and we were talking about solutions for weight loss, right? I'm not a nutrition, I'm not a doctor, but what I do know is drugs and fast diets might give you some quick results, but do you want long-term healthy results?
Bingo.
And that's where holistic wellness really is the game changer. And how that affects your mental health is a huge piece. So if you were putting good things into your body, probiotics, probiotic type foods, these are going to eliminate certain bacteria in your gut. These are going to promote certain bacteria in your gut, and those have been linked to treating depression and anxiety.
That is what I heard. We were actually talking about that in the elevator on the way up. What was the magic word you said? K, it started with a K, maybe.
For which one? I'm sorry.
We were talking about what you do as far as like to help your gut health and stuff like that. Isn't it like? Isn't there it starts with a K, I want to say.
Well, there's a lot of things that can help our
like
gut
probiotics.
Health. Probiotics are good. There are different things like bitter melon is really good.
That's
kombucha,
it.
That's what we're talking.
I love the kombucha.
Bingo.
Yeah, thank you.
And is that a C or a K?
That's a K.
Okay, so I'm right.
Funny thing in the recovery world, right?
Yes.
So drinking kombucha is kind of
That's
for
a
some
taboo,
people, right?
huh?
Because it's a fermented tea, right? And so it's fermented enough to give it that funk that creates the living probiotic in there. But it does have a very small whisper of alcohol content, less than 0.5%. Some
so
out
if
there in
you're
the
a
recovery
teetotaler,
community
yes.
avoid that. Me personally, I enjoy a good kombucha.
Dude, look, man, if I am sick as a dog, I'm hitting the NyQuil. I'm sorry, dude. I don't care, dude. It's okay, dude. My sobriety is still intact. Now, if I drink that entire bottle of NyQuil, then then I can reestablish.
Then you see those special things that you see.
Yeah. So, but yeah, tell me a little bit more, I guess both of y'all, about kombucha, because you were talking about it, and I hear like CG Kid was actually talking about it and brewing his own at home and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
you can
exactly.
do, right?
You can make your own SCOBY. I've got some different.
What was that word you just said?
SCOBY. It's the culture that kombucha's derived from.
No, I don't know.
Well,
idea.
there are different ways that you can make that, but just like Dusty said, gut health is important,
Sure.
and it really helps with our cognitive function. That's one thing that I found out as well. What I eat, what I take in to my body, physically and energetically, plays a big part as well. So kombucha is big for me. It's full of probiotics, and it just really fosters good gut health as well.
And fun fact, most of the serotonin, 95% in fact, is produced in the gut, not in the brain.
This is very true. This is very true.
Nice.
Yeah, and serotonin, that makes us feel good, right? So if we're feeding our gut the things that produce the serotonin, we're going to feel better overall.
What things produce our serotonin? What organs?
Well,
just our guts.
It starts in our gut.
Yeah.
Definitely. There are different systems in our bodies. For example, there's an endocrine system, the limbic system. We even have an endocannabinoid system within our bodies. And so, as when these systems are healthy, our nervous systems, all of these, it really helps us feel good.
For adrenal health too, right?
Bingo,
That's a huge one.
bingo. Because what happens is when we're stressed out, our body is flooded with this stress hormone called cortisol.
I hear bad things about that, but that's basically our old school fight or flight system.
Exactly.
That was built in. And
you mentioned the limbic system. You mentioned the adrenal system. These work together to help us survive, right? If there's a bear in the forest, all that stuff's going to kick in, our fight or flight, the adrenal system, all those functions are going to go on high alert and get us away. The problem with some of us, especially those with addiction and trauma, right, is though that fight or flight response is kicked off all the time, which causes us some adverse health effects in the long term.
Yeah.
Bingo.
Or it might even cause anxiety.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I have, that was one of the things why I self-medicated, because I had anxiety issues. And hey, what's going to solve that quick-wise? A little alcohol. What's going to ruin you in the long run? Little alcohol.
So there's no question that we know. Research has told us for years that proper diet, exercise, and overall just responsible health decreases symptoms of anxiety and depression, even more so in research than antidepressant pills. I'm not saying stop taking your antidepressants. I'm just saying if you're utilizing antidepressant pills and you're having a good diet and exercise, I mean, you're getting
best of both worlds.
You're getting the best of both worlds.
Your opportunities for long-term recovery increase exponentially.
Right. Yeah, because you don't feel like shit.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Because you feel good, and then you don't need to go to that crutch. That used to make you.
So
feel
jog your
good.
ass down to Whole Foods,
right?
And get you some organic
Sprouts
foods.
is another good one.
I'm a Central Market guy, but maybe that's
all
just
of those,
because
all those,
it's located there. But so okay, so like let's say what are a couple of good tips? Because I mean, like I said, I was diabetic. What would you recommend for like dietary needs and stuff like that for somebody that's diabetic out there?
So for diabetics, of course, the rule of thumb is you want to stay away from sugar.
Okay, really?
As much, right?
But no alcohol.
No, there are other things that help. Like bitter melon is an herb that really helps balance out your blood sugar levels. Fenugreek is another herb, and golden seal as well. So and actually, there are a lot of things out there that can help lower our blood pressure. It's just not, put in the forefront as much. So,
Sure.
Lots of leafy greens help, salads with a lot of leafy greens.
Yeah, so
all that
I
good
want to
stuff.
go to your website real quick because what do you have up? Let's see. So what's the URL again?
Highvibewellness.org. Right now, what I just have on is there a way to get in touch with me, and I do wellness coaching, so I've got some different plans up there. But anyone who has any questions, I do dietary planning as well.
Right, and you'll also, if they contact you, you can send them a couple of suggestions or something.
Absolutely.
And like I said, I'm later on I'm going to, because it won't let me post on the live feed the actual snapshot that I took of the vegan challenge that you put together for us with the Mean Green Power Smoothie.
Definitely. And just to touch on the vegan challenge, I'm a no borders guy, which means I don't feel we have to fit ourselves into one way of doing things.
Sure.
So just because I have the vegan challenge, I'm not encouraging those who don't want to become vegan to become vegan. It's just a modality of eating with less meat,
Right.
And that's going to play a big part on our energy levels as well.
Would you say you're a multiple pathways to nutrition and wellness
I
guy?
yeah,
Had to get that in there.
definitely. I like.
Well. So you were saying that the whole meat thing, but I mean, I hear that meat obviously is a high source of protein, and protein is kind of what gives you energy, what
Absolutely.
makes you not
Absolutely.
feel lethargic, right? Because it's the sugar that makes you feel lethargic. So as far as like meat replacements, I mean, Dusty, let's talk tree hugger, man. Let's go vegan. And like, what's some of your favorites that you've come across as far as meat substitutes?
So quinoa is a complete protein. It's one of my favorites. They're different beans.
I've seen like the quinoa burgers, like they have, right.
If you want to go that route as a meat substitute, Beyond Meat is a good company. They've got some plant-based meat products that work really well. For me, I just like to do different forms of protein. So there's a quinoa power salad. It's got sweet chili sauce, chickpeas, quinoa, peppers, cilantro, all that good stuff. And you can eat that as a cold salad. You can eat that as a warm salad. And it's a complete protein. It'll give you the nutritional value that you need without eating meat. Beans are good. Now, don't get me wrong. I like meat too.
Sure.
Like I like to eat meat. It's just I have a mindful eating process that if I eat meat Saturday, I know I'm gonna feel this way Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. So I'm gonna try to stay away from meat those days, or eat some fish, or eat some shrimp. Something like that.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, it's just like anything, really. I mean, like it's what you're putting in, like the whole alcohol, drugs thing. I mean, it's the same with food. I find myself, having to avoid drive-throughs now, because I'm like, oh, I lost all this weight.
And your diet can affect your mood too. One of the things that Corey and I spent many hours in the kitchen together, and quite a long time on the kayak. And one of the things that we talk about are moods and emotions. So Corey and I like to talk about feelings, right? Of course, I'm a counselor. I like to talk about feelings.
Right.
But one of the things that we talked about a lot is challenging the norms, the societal norms too, on emotions and how men process them, right?
Exactly.
Because there's so much messaging and programming we get as guys that we have to be tough and ruthless.
I was going to say, should we all try to cry now on command?
We could.
We could.
Tears of joy,
right?
Exactly.
But one of the things that we talked about is how we can talk to each other and support each other as men. And that was one of the great things that I got about when I continue to get from my relationship with Corey, is challenging those norms of how we process anger as men, and to be able to support each other as men and going around telling each other, hey, man, I love you.
Yeah. Right.
Hey, calling them up and saying, hey, are you doing okay today, man?
Yeah.
Are you struggling?
Yeah. Right.
Giving you a hug. All of these things that, we might not necessarily be taught that as boys.
Right.
That it's okay to have emotions.
Right.
It's okay to say you're sorry. It's okay to take accountability.
Right.
And so that was one of the awesome things that we
Well, I
talked
mean, that
about over
ties in
time.
with the whole, wholeness and wellness coach,
Exactly,
So I
exactly.
mean, it's the positive vibe along with the diet, and then don't fucking use.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
don't fucking use. And get
I
out and
like
eat
I
some.
like what Dusty said. Like I do think as men we have a taboo on us.
Yeah, there's a bit of a stigma.
Yeah, yeah, and suppressing our emotions. And what I found in working with Dusty and working in mental health is that when you suppress those emotions, that's when you have the unwanted explosion. Or you can't control how these emotions come
Might
up.
spike your cortisol levels.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. No,
Seriously.
seriously.
I know.
Yeah.
Hey, I just dropping knowledge what I learned, dude. Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah.
And so just all those modalities really taking care of our energetic health, our emotional health, as well as our physical health, and combining the three really gives us the quality of life that we desire, and it's been good.
Right. Yeah.
And check that energy before you walk into a room.
Yeah.
Am I coming into this room with some funky energy?
Right.
You know?
Yeah. No.
Step back and check it,
I'm all
know?
about that. So now I want to move on. I've been waiting for this because I know this is a high, high trigger, very controversial, especially for a sobriety / recovery webcast. But you also actually are a licensed CBD distributor.
Yes,
correct?
yes, correct.
Okay.
Correct, I am.
So I want to touch on some of the truths, and that's probably what I'll make the episode titled like CBD, the truth, or something like that. But I mean, there's just some basic questions. First of all, CBD stands for cannabinoid.
Cannabidiol. I don't know how
it's
to
not.
say
It's
it
not.
correctly.
It's not
yeah.
cannabinoid oil. It's
No.
cannabidiol, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay, so that's what CBD stands
Because
for.
it contains cannabinoids.
Yes.
Oh, there you go.
Yes.
Nice one. So, can that in fact be abused? I mean, I guess anything can be abused.
Anything can be abused, and it's about the effect that it has on your way of thinking.
Okay.
If using CBD oil triggers you down a road that you're starting to entertain your addictive thinking, then it might be a bad idea for you.
Right.
You can't get high from CBD. Now, there is CBD without
Yeah,
THC.
I was going to ask that.
And there's
So, hold on.
CBD with THC.
Okay.
And so if we're just talking about CBD without THC, it might have trace amounts that could even affect a urine test.
Right.
But it won't have any sort of euphoric
Well,
effects.
okay, so then, then why use it, dude?
Well, it's
Well,
been
well,
shown.
So let's hear
Yeah,
it.
I just want to chime in here.
Yeah, go ahead.
They're just different. I think CBD is a different holistic modality for anxiety.
Okay.
We have different pharmaceuticals out there that address anxiety,
the
but
anxiety, yeah.
CBD can help as well. It can help lower those cortisol levels, help keep
Okay.
you from high levels of
Now,
stress.
will you notice if you do not take if you get on a program of taking CBD and then pull it
you
back?
can
will
you can
notice
definitely notice a difference
Yeah.
because, like Dusty touched on earlier, we get into this habit where we're in a constant state of stress.
Sure.
And our cortisol levels are through the roof. And I've seen people go through so much stress where their posture reflects it. Now they're literally tensed or they're literally hunched over. And so
Right.
what
like
way-
where they need to go to a recovery Dharma meeting.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Bring it.
Just how to drop that. Yeah.
Exactly. So what can we do to help lower some of that anxiety on a
Just
natural
you
level?
saying that made me go, oh, I need it. Because I'm all like getting like Larry King over here.
I've used CBD lotion for my muscles, right?
Right.
And it's been helpful, right?
Right.
If I get a hard workout in, put it on my back, my lower back. I don't feel numb or anything. It doesn't make me feel euphoric, but it does have a soothing effect on those muscle areas, you know?
Gotcha.
And that's just been my experience in it. I know in the recovery community, just like kombucha, some people go, no, stay away from it. And that's okay. To each their own.
Right.
But some find it an effective tool for many, many things out there.
Bingo.
And so I'm one of those kind of people. If I hear about it, I need to explore it and find out for myself.
Right. Yeah. And
I was on a recovery Facebook page the other day looking at some of their rules, and it said you cannot talk about other alternative ways of recovery here, and you cannot promote use of CBD on here. And I'm like, well, that's kind of odd because we want to keep the conversation open about multiple pathways, alternative treatments. And so just not taking a look at it doesn't expand your knowledge on the subject. If you want to learn about it and not do it, you have that prerogative. But check your mindset going into any investigation before contempt.
Right, exactly. Like, I mean, go out there and try DMT before you. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But no. I agree with that. Now, I do have a couple of questions. So just like basic questions.
Yeah.
Like as far as CBD, what form does it come in? Do you actually can you smoke it? And
you can
is it
smoke
pill
it.
form
They have smokables. That's what I enjoy about CBD is that there are many forms.
Right.
So if you are not a smoker, if you don't want to smoke, they have gummies.
Right. So it's
edibles.
basic. It's kind of like I would equate it to maybe like a non-alcoholic beer.
Exactly.
You know, for the weed smoker out there, maybe.
Exactly.
Something like that.
Exactly.
Yeah? Okay.
Something along those lines. And,
Okay.
and like Dusty said, they have different forms of C8 CBD. They have some with a Delta 8 THC, and that does have a little bit of a psychoactive.
All right, so now
component.
I've heard the buzz. This is a buzzword. So the Delta 8. Now that's not a variant of COVID, right? No. But so what is Delta 8?
So Delta 8 is it's an extract from the cannabis flower as well, similar to CBD. It's just a little different, you know. And so it is the little cousin, I would say, of Delta 9, and so it will have a little bit of a of an effect. But there's a pure.
But it's THC positive, correct?
It's trace amounts. It's trace amounts.
Sure.
It's all going to be trace amounts in order for it to be CBD, and so. I always recommend to everyone, you don't want to go to the THC, the Delta 8, if you're not wanting that for your modality. Yeah. But the non-psychoactive part, the pure CBD, I use it as a supplement, like a daily supplement. You know?
Right.
It's that non-reactive, and it helps our endocannabinoid system as well, the different systems in our bodies. You know, so they have edibles, there are different tinctures. Dusty's got the cream that he uses. I've got a cream that I use as well. And there are a lot of different products out there, whatever fits you and your way of living.
Right. And then why, besides people trying to imitate getting high, what would for example, what would you said anxiety, but is there other things that CBD oil, obviously you said like a muscle ache, and then anything else that it helps with?
Definitely. It's got a broad range of benefits, and if you go to my website, I've got a link where there's a doctor discussing some of the benefits as well.
Right.
But gut health, it plays a big role in gut health, and blood health, all of that, and so I would definitely recommend it for those who are looking for something outside of the pharmaceutical brands for anxiety, you know, and it actually helps with our cognitive function. When you're calm, when you're not flooded with cortisol, you can focus, you can make proper decisions, and so I've enjoyed it.
Yeah, I've heard reports it helps with anxiety, depression, appetite, muscles, etc. But I do want to throw this trigger warning out there. So if you're, as a person in long-term recovery and as an addiction counselor, I do want to kind of warn folks in early recovery about making these sort of explorations without some sort of accountability, whether it be sponsor, counselor, doctor, wise friends and mentors, as we say in recovery, Dharma, before you go down this road, because if your thinking is already distorted, these kinds of things could possibly be a trigger for you to take it to another step. And we would never want to promote that happening.
Right.
So do some research, talk to your friends about it, people you trust, people in long-term recovery. before you kind of go down these roads and figure out what's going to work or not work for you. Or maybe you might want to leave that alone for a while.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Before you delve into some of these kind of alternative
Sure,
treatments.
then you could just add it into the
Yeah,
mix, dude.
because if it gets you, you know, if it's like with NA beer, right? If it
Yeah.
triggers you and you end up drinking over it,
Right.
then you know you haven't done yourself any service
Right,
through
by-
that.
yeah.
And that, you know, and as we know, this disease of addiction can kill us. So we want to be very careful and cognizant of those
Right.
risks.
Well, I always talk about this kind of like how in our addiction that the neural pathways were carved.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, yes.
And for somebody that, you know, is a huge cannabis or, you know, weed smoker, you know, it might be a good way to, you know, maybe, I guess not necessarily like, I guess a crutch.
Could be a
Or
substitution, or could be
substitution, yeah.
a trigger to fire those old neural pathways
Right.
up. So you just have to be very wise and careful with any of these types
Right.
of alternative treatments.
Right. Well, I mean, like what I said, you know, like I have the old energy drink right in the freezer where the vodka was. And so, like, I have that neural pathway carved, and I just go
Yeah.
over there, just like I used to do with my my best buddy, who is no longer my best buddy. But yeah, so I mean, it's kind of funny how that works and how it can work. You know, it works if you work it. You know,
And what works for some doesn't work for others. So you got to find out what works for you. So
Right.
Exactly.
multiple
exactly.
pathways, and that's incorporated in nutrition, alternative treatments, as well as treatment and recovery modalities. So just keep an open mind out
Right.
there and find what works
And
for
be
you.
honest with yourself.
Oh,
That's-
I
that's-
like
that's
that
one
one.
thing, right?
I like that
Be
one.
honest
Oh,
with
that one
yourself.
sounded like a little step one right there,
Yeah.
dude. But I mean, that is key. That is key for me. Like, I mean, because honestly, when I went into treatment, I still thought, of course, I've got this, dude. I mean, you know, I'm just gonna go in there and pump the brakes, and then just I'll be able to come out and socially drink. And
Kelly effing Rebirth.
That's right, dude. But yeah, Kelly effing relapse. No, but I noticed in that window of clarity that I had, I noticed that I actually did have a problem, and I was able to identify it. Whereas in my active addiction, you know, blacking out and falling out of bed and waking up with level 10 panic attacks and not being able to go anywhere without alcohol, that's not normal, man. You know, but I mean, and then I I had that little window, and I'm like, I hear about all these people, you know, like, oh yeah. And I'm like, well, shit, man.
That's what's so wonderful about
Yeah.
residential treatment, because it can provide that opportunity for that, as we alcoholics call it, that moment of clarity.
Yeah, right. And while we're talking about that treatment, that residential treatment, let's hit the old summersky.us. Summer Sky is a beautiful facility out in Stephenville, Texas. And I guess beauty is in the eye of the beholder. But it is at, if you want to reach out to them, they're at summersky.us. And it's 888-857-8857. Once again, that's 888-857-8857. You know, I went there and it's working out for me. I want to start like having like I might go for like having a room named after me. Yeah, I'll take
I like that.
I'll take the Reverb Suite, which I did. Like I shopped around because there was the ones with the big showers and then the short showers.
The
So,
Reverb
yeah.
a recovery room.
Yes, exactly, and it's like a little bit of an upgrade. And
I like
you
the
know.
disability shower. 'Cause
Yeah.
It's got the bench.
Oh yeah. Well, there was only one of those, so like I was like, oh well, you know. But that is the where you can spread out and
Yeah,
do some thinking.
that's the bee's
for
knees.
sure, for sure. But yeah, so hit them up, and also you know, we are on all podcast formats. I want to put that out there. So if you're iTunes, whatever, Spotify, just look for This Pink Cloud, and you can subscribe that way. Also hit our YouTube channel, which is thispinkcloud.com. And that will take you to our YouTube channel. Be sure and hit subscribe because I'm going to put unique content on there. There's also a link to the shirts and the stickers, which the stickers I have so nicely displayed with my Jim Bob bobblehead. But other than that, I wanted to touch base with you as far as like Sobar Basics. I know you had a little paintball event, and why don't you tell the folks in case they don't know what Sobar Basics is?
SobarBasics.com is a recovery community I started back when I entered recovery about 7 years and 1 month ago is when I started my journey.
How long ago was that?
7 years and 1 month, according to Facebook.
I like that 1 month.
And that is my recovery date, not my sobriety date.
Right.
And it's been quite a journey. But during that journey, I came up with the idea of starting Sobar Basics because at the time I was a sober bartender. And I was like, I can't be the only one. I know chefs and cooks and hostesses and managers and owners and all that.
And DJs.
And DJs,
Right.
also service industry.
Sure.
If you really want to
Sure.
break it down, strippers, hairstylists,
Right.
all of that services, right?
The entire.
So I started Sobar Basics, and it's turned into a fantastic, beautiful resource for support for multiple pathways and people sober curious, long-term sobriety, etc. So we do events, right? So last weekend we went paintballing. We had a blast. It was so cool. I got home, I was bloody. I smelled like cow shit and mud. We did it right after the rain, but it's a good way to fellowship together. This Sunday at Grapevine Lake, we do Day at the Lake with the Phoenix Recovery.
Okay, and that's this
Sunday from noon to 3. If you go to SobarBasics.com or type Sobar Basics in your search bar on Facebook, you can find the details to that. Everybody's invited. Come
and
on
that
out.
is SOBAR,
Yeah.
like Sobar, which you have a clever acronym, which we always celebrate acronyms. So give it to us, Dusty. What's the acronym?
Sobar, short for sober bartender. Basics, bartender, and
I put you on the spot now. You can't even remember your
bartender and service industry community support. Got a little tongue tied there.
There you go. Well, I mean, it was a whole mouthful, you know,
It
of
was.
creativeness that you came up with for the acronym. So
It took me all day to figure that out.
yeah,
I was
did,
like, right,
did
stuff
you
around.
write Sobar Basics and then come up with the acronym, or did you go acronym first?
I had Sobar first, then
yeah.
acronym, because I was like, every cool thing needs a cool acronym.
Exactly. That's
So
what I
check
was
that out. We'll have all the details for this Sunday. Everybody's invited. We'll have food, mountain biking, kayaking, paddleboarding, volleyball, music. Corey, myself,
there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
y'all are gonna be there.
hopefully
now?
Kelly.
there.
What is Sunday?
Sunday noon to 3.
Noon to 3.
Yeah. So just bring you. You don't have to bring
Jeez.
anything but you.
Right.
We just want you there for fellowship and community and sangha.
Right. And that's what I love, and I always like to put this out there. But I mean, as far as what I've found effective in my recovery, my personal journey has been community and community of some sort. So if if you're in, Hyco, Texas, which that's where Jim Bob's from, I mean, there is a 12-step out there. And if 12 steps all you got, then, that's cool. But, if you're in a bigger city, there's so much stuff going on in recovery. And I always like to say that I like to try to unite the tribes on here.
Absolutely.
And there's so many different A meetings. There's CA, CMA, AA, all that good stuff. They're all over the place, but then there's other alternate methods, which is like the Recovery Dharma North.
If you'd like to hear about Recovery Dharma, you can come to a meeting tonight at 7 in the Colony.
Right.
So if you want to go to Facebook in your Facebook search bar and type in North DFW Recovery Dharma, it will have the addresses for our two meetings, which are the Colony meeting on Friday and the Plano meeting on Wednesday at the Mystic Mandala Center.
Right, which I have been to, which is very nice.
Beautiful, beautiful space. Thanks,
Right.
VJ.
Yeah.
So come check it out. We'd love to have you. It's not just for chemical addiction, but process addiction, codependency. Maybe you're just trying to get out of a relationship or a marriage that's really struggling, and you just need support and community. It's a good
Right.
place to continue your journey or to start a new journey.
Right, yeah.
And we utilize Buddhist principles to that. You don't have to be a Buddhist.
Right.
I'm a guy who's a Christian, and I just practice these Buddhist principles. So it doesn't matter if you're atheist or agnostic. We don't ask you to believe in anything but your own capacity for change.
Love it. Love it.
Right, you should do the snaps, man. Woo, cool. Hey, but yeah, and also they want to point out that if you're not out up north, then there's always Skate Straight.
Absolutely.
And they are also doing a Dharma meeting.
Thursday night.
Yeah, which
at
is
7?
the it's Recovery Dharma Brigade.
Yeah.
They had to put a little skate.
Dude,
tin
that
on it,
is an
skater guy.
amazing organization. If you go to Skate Straight Dallas and on your Facebook, they will have their calendar of events. They have so much going on.
Oh, yeah,
It's one of my favorite organizations. I'm so proud and blessed to be connected with that as well as the Phoenix.
Right.
So it's just really good stuff happening in the DFW recovery community.
Yeah, and like I said, I mean, if there's anything, if you're like sober curious or want to get reconnected, it's really cool because nobody forces it down your throat, and it's just a good place to observe and find out, maybe, hey, this guy's doing it, that guy's story is similar to mine. Let me shadow this guy and see what the heck he's doing to achieve recovery. So
Yeah, just see what works for you. Just show up, ask questions, investigate.
Right.
It's a good time. I've been to a few of the events, paintball, the day at the lake, and it's just awesome connections, and like you said, just being around people who have that commonality, it's encouraging and it's inspiring to see.
I think you and I actually met at a sober
Absolutely,
event.
we
So,
did.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we did. And so, I encourage everyone to come out, and just connect.
Right. Yeah. And I guess
You're finding monotony in your recovery.
Yeah. We were
Come out and
talking
hang
about
out with us
that,
because
the other
it will
time.
not be monotonous anymore.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, because people need something to replace their passing out at the bar.
Yeah, if it was just about not drinking and using, that's it. I'd have been back to drinking and using already a long time ago.
Yeah.
I have to be able to have
sure.
a good time, meet people, do cool shit.
Right, and speaking of that, your new job title allows you to come out and do this. What was the title again at
I'm a
TCC?
SUD program community outreach coordinator, and so I
Okay.
get to go out into the community and make friends with you guys and hang out and connect and share what we do over at Texoma Community Center up there. Shout out.
Right.
If you want more information on our programs and what we do, go to texomacc.org or show up to one of our events. I'll tell you all about it. We have an amazing substance use disorder program. We have a medication-assisted treatment program. We have
Matt.
Matt.
Right.
We have mental health for adults. We have an adolescent substance use disorder program. We have programs for veterans and children. A lot of stuff going on out there in Grayson, Cook, and Fannin counties. We can also provide some of those services outside those counties, depending on what the situation is. So if you want any information on that, you can also reach me at dburrows@texomacc.org as well. Or Sober
just
Basics.
message you on Facebook because you're a social media whore.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. While I'm on that plug, too, vanillaviking.com coming soon.
Yeah,
Vanilla Viking Wellness Wear coming soon.
Oh, it's wellness wear. I
Yes,
did not
it is.
realize
Yeah.
that. So you will become well if you wear
That's right.
wear some Vanilla Viking swag.
It's got high vibes. Comes with high vibes.
Nice. Yeah, and then speaking of that, I want to thank you guys for coming on. I don't know how we're doing on time here, but I think we're coming up on the end of the hour.
We're having fun.
Yeah, we are, as I lose my pen. But yeah, just be sure, check out Corey's website, which is
highvibewellness.org. And if there are any questions, what I do is I do customized dietary plans. So we do an assessment, we do a profile, and then we see what works best for you. So,
Sure.
You guys reach out.
So if they want your services, that is the best way to get a hold of you. Also, you're on Facebook as well.
Absolutely.
Well, under
Super
just
excited for that. too.
under
Yeah,
under
telling
Corey Warnsley.
Yeah.
And then let's see.
You. Do I get
and
a
then
discount?
You do.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. I'm like,
The homeboy
This
discount.
guy, he kind of helped me start, on this path with the Sobar basics and just really aligning that group with some of the issues that we see in the service industry, and
Right.
so it's been no looking back ever since.
yeah, no,
I'm
that's
proud of it.
great. Yeah, and I wish you luck on that endeavor. And maybe one of these days you'll be able to sponsor this show.
Absolutely. Look for
No,
it.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But yeah, I really appreciate you guys making time. I don't know if you had any shout outs you want to do real quick. Maybe like your wife or something.
Just shout out to my wife. She's watching, Joanne. Thank you. Big shout out to Recovery Dharma, Sobar Basics, the Phoenix. That's about it.
Cool. Well, thanks
The Pink
for coming.
Cloud.
No, this
Pink Cloud.
not the.
This Pink Cloud.
Yes. Yeah. So, Dusty, shout outs for you, bud.
I just want to shout out to my mom and my kiddos and my
Right.
family that are always supportive. My team at work, y'all keep me motivated and keep me coming to work every day. We're doing big things out there at Texoma Community Center. Very proud to be a part of that organization. And to our Sangha, which
The Recovery Dharma.
Yeah, Sangha means community, but our community extends far beyond Recovery Dharma, and I'm just so proud and motivated to be a part of that. It has saved my life, literally.
Has it?
Yes, it has.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
If I didn't have my community, and that
Yeah.
goes beyond Recovery Dharma,
Mhm.
if I didn't have you guys as my community, I don't know where I'd be.
Yeah,
For
be,
me,
you'd be in South Padre, bro. That's where you'd be.
For
or
me-
maybe in a mental health facility.
yeah, or jail,
yeah.
or a
Yeah,
coffin.
sure.
Yeah.
No,
So,
I
yeah,
love
I'm
it,
just
yeah.
very grateful for my recovery and my community.
And your recovery bros and sisters.
That's
right.
right.
Yeah. Well, cool. All good stuff. If you want to find out any more information about this, hit any one of us up. We're pretty accessible. Also, the shirts are available at djkellyreverb.com/shop. And, Brett, I think we're about that time, but I do appreciate you guys coming out. And then, remember, there is no magic pill for sobriety, because if there was, we would all take too many. Peace.
I'm kind of relieved that the pasta didn't make it on.
Oh, yeah. I forgot to pull that up. I'll post it later. I'll post it later.